This is the most pitiful kid in the world. The moment he was born, 4 spirits were right there with him. Most kids are raised by their parents, but this little guy was raised by 4 ghosts. Every day they told him all kinds of stories and played all kinds of games with him, because only the little boy could see them in his parents' eyes. Their son seemed to have some kind of mental issue. He was always giggling at thin air. Soon, Tony started elementary school. Since the 4 ghosts had been teaching him since he was little, Tony knew way more than kids his age. Whenever the teacher asked a question in class, he always had plenty to say and spoke with confidence. Tony also started to realize that the 4 people around him were what his textbooks called ghosts.
I'm the only kid I know who has invisible friends like you guys.
That's a very good question, Thomas.
The truth is, the moment Tony was born, his fate was tied to these 4 spirits. 10 years earlier, Tony's parents were rushing to the hospital for the delivery. An oncoming bus collided with their car. His mother gave birth to Tony right there in the vehicle. The bus plunged off a bridge, and the 4 passengers, along with the driver, lost their lives on the spot. But for some reason, the driver ascended to heaven, while the 4 ghosts were drawn by a mysterious force and trapped by Tony's side. No matter where Tony went, they followed him like shadows. The moment they drifted more than 5 meters away, the mysterious force yanked them right back. The 4 ghosts happily raised Tony alongside his parents. They treated the little guy like their own child. Tony loved dancing with them in the bathroom, but in the eyes of his teachers and classmates, he looked like he'd lost his mind. Everyone thought there was something seriously wrong with him. The ghosts even took Tony to the horse races. The ticket seller said horse racing was for adults. Mello started coaching him on how to lie.
My dad said if I don't place this bet for him, I shouldn't come home ever.
You'll give me an awful beating.
Don't give me an awful beating. So please take my money, please, okay?
Okay.
In the end, Tony won a lot of money, but it also got him into big trouble. The very next day, Child Protective Services showed up at his door. They believed Tony's father was mistreating him.
Well, your son has been seen at the track. He's telling the story that you will give him a beating if he doesn't place your bets.
His father said he never went to the races and would never force his son to place bets. Between that and their son's strange behavior, the couple had no idea how to explain any of it. That night, the 2 of them got into a heated argument. The father wanted to send Tony to a psychiatric facility, but his mother was firmly against it. She believed their son was just a little mature for his age with an overactive imagination. The father thought Tony's problems were serious. He was always imagining strange people around him, living in a fantasy world.
You can't continue that! You can't play his little games!
Tony had drawings of himself with the 4 ghosts hanging above his bed to keep him from being sent away. The ghosts talked it over and decided to make themselves invisible to him.
He's got a mother and a father. We've got to let them be his parents.
Leaving Thomas would be like dying all over again.
Penny, I never had any children. But for a little while with Thomas, I got to feel like a father. This isn't easy for any of us.
Penny woke Tony from his sleep. They said their heartfelt goodbyes. Then, one by one, the 4 ghosts vanished before his eyes. Tony was already sobbing uncontrollably, crying and begging them to stay. 20 years flew by. Tony had become the CEO of Stark Industries, living the high life with a 6-figure salary, a nice car, and a beautiful home. All those years, the 4 ghosts were still right by his side. He just couldn't see them anymore. Grown-up Tony was a total workaholic. He had no time for his parents or his girlfriend. Even dates were squeezed in between meetings. One day, his girlfriend wanted to introduce him to her parents, but he got cold feet. He said the timing wasn't right. The 4 ghosts thought Tony was just running away from commitment. He'd been with his girlfriend for years, but refused to take things to the next level and walk down the aisle. Just then, a green bus magically appeared. It passed right through the wall and stopped in front of the ghosts. It turned out to be a bus from heaven. The driver was there to take the 4 ghosts to be reborn. Penny recognized the driver as the very man who had caused their end. Back then, the driver had been sneaking a look at a woman in the car next to him, and because of that, the bus couldn't dodge the oncoming vehicle and crashed into Tony's parents' car. The driver said he'd already been punished. His sentence was to drive a heavenly bus for 500 years, ferrying spirits who were stuck in the living world due to accidents. He was willing to give each ghost one more day to fulfill their final wish. That way, their lives could be considered complete.
How in the world are we supposed to do that? We're spirits.
Yeah, we can't make a phone call. We can't...
Punch some bus driver in the chops? Your corporeal being. You're supposed to use him as a vehicle. And if he won't do it, you enter his body and you make him do it.
Enter his body.
We can take him over?
Well, thank God. I thought we were going to be stuck here forever.
The driver said a new baby was on the way, and the ghosts needed to hurry up with their wishes. They couldn't keep the expectant mother waiting too long. The 4 ghosts couldn't wait to reveal themselves. Tony nearly jumped out of his skin. What should have been a joyful surprise instantly turned into pure shock. With scream after scream, Tony's car slammed right into a roadside planter. When he woke up in the hospital, Harrison explained everything. They wanted Tony to help them fulfill their wishes.
Oh, God, they're back.
He remembers us.
He remembers us!
The hallucinations are back.
Tony thought he was hallucinating. He rushed to the hospital's psychiatric department, hoping a doctor could figure out what was going on. But instead, he ran into a very special patient. She could also see the 4 ghosts.
Do you see any other people with me?
No, nobody.
besides those four.
The woman even described exactly what they looked like. That convinced Tony this wasn't a hallucination. Julia told him the ghosts had been there all along. They'd just been invisible. Tony still held a grudge about them disappearing on him and refused to help with their wishes. Not only had his luxury car been wrecked, but now he had to put up with 4 ghosts constantly nagging in his ear. Tony wanted them to disappear again. To force Tony to give in, the ghosts started messing with his work. Mello covered his eyes so he couldn't read his documents. Julia straight up possessed his body and marched right up to his boss, flirting shamelessly. Everyone in the room couldn't bear to watch the cringeworthy scene. As soon as Julia left his body, Mello jumped right in. He used Tony's body to make inappropriate comments to the female CFO. Tony and Mello started fighting over control of the body. Eventually, Mello's spirit was forced out. To stop the 4 ghosts from tormenting him any further, Tony agreed to help them fulfill their wishes. When Mello was alive, he was a Robin Hood-type thief who stole from the rich to give to the poor. He'd stolen from plenty of wealthy people, but one time, a rich businessman hired him to steal a 10-year-old boy's inherited stamp collection. It was a complete sheet of 1930 Zeppelin stamps, conservatively worth over $1 million. Mello wanted to turn it down, but the pay was just too good, so he took the job. It had weighed on his conscience ever since. He wanted to return the stamps to that little boy. Tony went to the businessman's house using the address. Mello entered his body and successfully found the stamps he'd stolen all those years ago. Just as they were about to leave, the guard dog spotted Tony. The businessman heard the barking and came running. Mello called him out for what he'd done, then managed to escape. Tony wanted to return the stamps to the boy, but his car had been blocking a fire hydrant, and a traffic officer slapped him with a $2,600 ticket. He had to go to the station first to pay the fine. At the station, Henry helped Tony sort out the ticket. That's when Tony remembered he had dinner plans with his girlfriend that evening. She had planned to introduce him to her parents, but Tony never showed up, even by midnight. Her parents had no choice but to leave. Tony sincerely apologized to his girlfriend and promised he'd never be late again. She decided to forgive him. Tony returned the stamps to the little boy, who by now had become a middle-aged man. When he saw his long-lost stamps, he shouted with joy. Mello's wish was finally fulfilled. The green bus pulled up beside them.
I need one of you now.
It seemed an expectant mother was waiting. Mello said his final goodbyes to everyone, then was pulled onto the bus. Tony felt proud for having done a good deed. When Penny was alive, she had 2 daughters and a son. Her wish was to see them one last time before being reborn, but the place they used to rent had long been abandoned. Finding her children felt like searching for a needle in a haystack. Just when Penny was losing all hope, a few cats on the street triggered a memory. Maybe the neighbor who loved taking in strays was still alive. They went to the neighbor's home. The neighbor told Penny about her 2 daughters. They were both living happily with wonderful families of their own, but her youngest son's whereabouts were unknown. All anyone knew was that he'd been adopted, and his adoptive parents moved around a lot. Nobody knew where they were now. Tony went to the adoption agency, hoping to find information about the son. The staff said all adoption records were confidential. Even the adopted person themselves had no right to access them. With Penny's time running out fast, Tony decided to help Harrison with his wish first. Harrison's biggest dream was to become a singer, but he was so naturally shy that he could never muster the courage to step on stage. Tony snuck into a theater. Harrison was still too nervous to go up. Tony walked to center stage and told the audience he was going to sing them a song. Harrison was shoved into his body, but he was so scared he jumped right back out.
What are you doing?
And my whole life will be a complete failure.
No offense, Harrison, but you died a failure because you never tried.
Tony's words of encouragement gave Harrison the courage he needed. He entered Tony's body once more and began to sing his best song with all his heart. The spotlight focused on him. The theater band admired his bravery and joined in, playing behind him. Tony's girlfriend and parents were in the audience too. When the song ended, the crowd erupted in thunderous applause. The green bus appeared again. Harrison waved to the audience in gratitude. Even the driver gave him a thumbs up for his performance. Harrison said goodbye to everyone and boarded the bus to heaven with a heart full of joy.
Thank you, Thomas.
Tony was taken away by police for disrupting the show. Henry gave him a good talking to. After paying bail, Tony left the station, only to run into his girlfriend who had come looking for him. She accused Tony of lying to her. He'd said he was working late at the office, but instead he'd gone on stage and made a spectacle of himself. She was really upset this time. She drove away in disappointment. Tony was miserable too. His terrible mood caused him to back right into the car behind him. When he got out, Tony lost it all over again. He'd hit Henry the officer's car. Henry was holding his startled daughter and softly comforting her.
And I'm a little bit scared.
The lullaby he sang caught Penny's attention. It was the exact song she used to sing to her own children. Henry was Penny's youngest son. With Tony's help, Penny shared stories about her son's childhood. She entered Tony's body and gave her son a big, warm hug. In the end, Penny boarded the bus with no regrets. Tony watched her go, his eyes full of reluctance to let her leave. Now only Julia was left. She used to be a waitress at a restaurant. She had a boyfriend she'd been with for years. They were deeply in love and their relationship was solid. But when her boyfriend proposed, Julia pulled back. She felt she wasn't ready and asked him to give her more time. Julia's hesitation broke his heart and he walked away. By the time she figured out what she truly wanted and tried to go after him, she got into a car accident. The truth was, she had always been deeply in love with him. Julia's wish was to see her boyfriend one last time. She entered Tony's body and wrote him a letter, hoping it would clear up the misunderstanding between them. They drove to her boyfriend's place, but a stranger answered the door. He said Julia's boyfriend had passed away 7 years ago and he'd bought the place after that. The news hit Julia like a bolt from the blue. She regretted turning down his proposal. She regretted that fate never gave them a chance to reunite. Suddenly, the sky opened up and rain poured down, mirroring exactly how Julia felt in that moment. The bus driver showed up too. Tony called him out for his carelessness all those years ago that cost 4 innocent, kind people their lives. Then Julia had a sudden realization, and the sky cleared instantly. The same misunderstanding she'd had with her boyfriend was repeating itself with Tony and his girlfriend.
I pushed him away. I kept him at arm's length, and finally he just left. Only you've got the chance to fix it. I've watched you all these years. You know how painful it's been to know who you really are and watch you keep it hidden from people. You're so afraid of being hurt. You're gonna end up all alone. It doesn't matter if she says yes or no. Don't let her go without telling her how you really feel. Promise me you're gonna go to her. Promise me you're gonna live the life that I didn't get to live.
Julia didn't want Tony to make the same mistake she did.
I can go now.
Julia boarded the bus and disappeared from Tony's sight. Tony went straight to his girlfriend. He used his house key as a proposal gift and poured his heart out to her. He told her about everything miraculous that had happened to him.
And I know I'm late, and I know I don't deserve it. I need you. And I love you.
I love you.
In the end, the two of them embraced, happy and in love. Every day we face different problems and all kinds of challenges. Sometimes we feel helpless. Sometimes we struggle through failure. Sometimes a small mistake makes us look foolish. But the truth is, every obstacle in life is an opportunity to grow and become stronger. Don't be afraid to try. As long as we keep pushing forward, we'll find a way through. Time waits for no one. Don't hesitate or hold back. Seize the moment and make your life shine.